You are looking at blue skies above Pad A at Rocket Lab Launch Complex 1 on the Mähia Peninsula. Electron is currently scheduled for liftoff at 1:55 p.m. New Zealand Daylight Time for its 81st launch and second flight this year, launching our latest mission called Bridging the Swarm. My name is Kim Thompson and I'm a structural analyst in the Neutron team.
And I'm Muriel Baker. It is great to be with you from Rocket Lab's Mission Control Centre in Auckland, about 400 odd kilometres north of Mähia. And the weather outlook today is 70% favourable for today's mission on this beautiful summer's day. And we are tracking green across the launch vehicle, payload and the range for an on-time liftoff. Now today's launch is headed to a 540 kilometre low Earth orbit at a 87.4 degree inclination to deploy the NEONSat-1A satellite for the Korea Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, known as KAIST.
Now, for those of you who have been following this mission, you'll know that we stood down from a launch attempt toward the end of December. Now, with troubleshooting complete, we are ready to take NEONSat-1A to space and help to bridge the swarm for KAIST.
The satellite being deployed today will link communications between an earlier satellite we launched for KAIST in 2024 and the future constellation that they have planned over the next 2 years. So NEONSat-1A is a sub-satellite of KAIST's NEONSat group, which altogether will form 2 orbital planes of a constellation in a sun-synchronous orbit.
KAIST and KASA, which is the Korean Aerospace Agency, will use satellite data from the constellation to monitor for natural disasters and respond to national security events across the Korean peninsula. Other Korean institutions involved in the mission include SaTReC, the SaTReC Initiative, the Korea Aerospace Research Institute, and the Korean government's Ministry of Science and ICT.
Otherwise, it is now T-minus 13 minutes in the countdown to launch, and if you're familiar with our launches, you will know what is next. But if you are new around here, then in the next few moments, our launch director for today's mission will begin the go, no-go poll across our operators at the range and in mission control.
That's right. During this poll, our operators across propulsion, guidance, navigation and control, launch safety and others report on whether their systems are ready to proceed into the final count. Today's launch director is Julia Wimbacher, and that poll is scheduled to begin right at T-minus 12 minutes on the clock. So let's listen in now.
And to all operators, LD and mission code, we are proceeding now with the go-no-go sequence. Stage.
Stages go.
Avionics.
Avionics is go.
GNC.
GNC is go.
Recon.
Recon is go.
T1.
T1 is go.
GC.
GC is go.
PLS.
PLS is go.
RSO.
RSO is go.
MET.
MET is go.
MM.
Is go.
LD sub.
LD sub is go.
The go-no-go sequence is complete. We are currently T-minus 11 minutes and 23 seconds and counting. We go for the terminal count auto sequence at T-minus 10 minutes, and from this time the 3-word procedure is in effect.
You heard it there. That is our go, no-go poll complete, and the team is ready to proceed with all remaining launch operations. Our target liftoff time for this mission remains set at 1:55 p.m. local time.
And while that countdown continues, let's take a look at the Electron rocket carrying NEONSat-1A. So our launch vehicle is designed for the dedicated launch of small spacecraft to Earth orbit and beyond, and at 18 meters in length, Electron sits in the small lift class of orbital rockets, and it's the most frequently launched rocket of its kind globally. Built from carbon composite, Electron's dry mass is just over 1,300 kilograms, but its liquid oxygen and kerosene propellant combined brings that total liftoff mass to just over 13,000.
Across its 2 stages, there are 10 3D printed rocket engines called the Rutherford, which we produce at our engine development complex in Long Beach, California. 9 of those engines power Electron through the initial ascent phase of launch before the 10th engine on the second stage ignites in space to carry the mission to orbit after our stages are separated. Moving up to the top of the second stage within Electron's nose cone fairing is the kick stage, which is our platform for delivering the NeonSat 1A to space.
Yes, and the kick stage has its own propulsion system too, called Curie. It's a much smaller 3D printed engine that we use for orbit maneuvering and positioning to deploy the mission's payload to orbit with accuracy, and sometimes that is to within just meters of its target.
Avionics LDM mission code.
LD avionics.
Please proceed with sequence 59, avionics terminal checks.
Sequence 59 in work. Stage 1 igniter pressures verified, hydraulic pressures verified, LDGC on mission.
GCLD.
Pad terminal checks are complete.
Copy, thank you. And we head on aboard. And we are proceeding with the abort actions.
So we heard there from the launch director on those mission control nets that we've had an abort and that clock is stopped at 8 minutes 59 seconds. We're just going to leave that audio channel up and wait to hear a little bit more.
Terminal abort checks, sequence 70.
Copy sequence 70. Vehicles on external power.
PLS LDN mission code.
LD PLS.
Could you please inform me on the status of the LOX top-up on both stages?
Both stages are in top-up and within target.
Copy, thank you.
LD station mission.
Stage out.
Sequence 70 complete.
Copy. And stage LDM mission code.
LD stage.
If required, please move the carrier to horizontal.
Copy.
GCLD mission code.
LDGC.
Could you please prime the igniter system once more? That's Romeo 4200.
Copy 4200 in work.
T1 LDM mission code.
LDT1.
Could you please book ground station coverage for the towards the end of the window when we have a color gap streaming available?
Absolutely. I recommend 012139.
I agree with you there. Thank you.
I'll book for that.
LD avionics mission.
Avionics LD.
Avionics terminal abort checks complete.
Thank you.
LDGC.
Go ahead, GC.
The igniter system is primed.
Copy, thank you. Vico and LD on mission code.
LD Vico.
Could you please shift the auto sequence and bring us to a T-minus 12-minute hold?
Copy, Mark.
Okay, lots of chatter we can hear there from Mission Control, but to summarize what you might have heard, we are in a hold at 8 minutes 59 seconds on the clock. And it looks like we're going to try and recycle that launch attempt to T-minus 12 minutes. But as you can see, with this abort, it's important to remember that at this stage of flight, the vehicle flight computer is actively monitoring a wide range of vehicle performance parameters. And when any of these are violated, it might mean that the rocket determines it's not ready and holds the count. So those aborts can be performed at any point up until the release of the vehicle hold-down clamps, which nominally happens at about a few seconds after initial engine ignition. But right now, as that team reviews the data, we're waiting to stand by to hear when that clock is reset and if we'll move ahead with a launch attempt today.
And to all operators, LDR mission code, we're still trying to understand if we can recycle or not. In the meantime, because I needed to get a ground station booking in, we have set the T0 towards the end of our window, and we are targeting a local time of 21 past 2 and 39 seconds. So I'm repeating, it's 14:21:39.
Just confirming what we heard there again from Mission Control, that it sounds like the team is resetting the clock towards the end of today's launch window at 21 minutes past 2 p.m. on this afternoon in New Zealand. So we're waiting to see that clock reset back up into T-minus 12 minutes, and then actually there it goes. We are back up and running with 28 minutes and counting on the clock. So we're standing by for more information from Mission Control.
And to all operators, LDN mission code, just the heads up, we have reset the T0. We are currently T-minus 27 minutes and 49 seconds and counting. Current status is that we are still investigating with the SMEs if we are in a position to aim for another attempt today or not. In the meantime, all operators, please continue to monitor your critical systems and please be prepared for another go-no-go poll at T-minus 12 minutes.
LD Beacon on mission.
We can only.
That's Golf 2400 complete.
Copy, thank you.
Met here. Met is green, tracking green. POV has dropped to 0%. We are not monitoring any significant weather, and weather is looking good to go for launch.
Copy, thank you.
Well, that's a nice little update from our weather monitor in Mission Control. We are now at 100% go for the weather for today's launch attempt. So looking at that clock, we are 24 minutes away from a possible attempt today at 2:21 p.m. this afternoon.
All right, if you are just joining us, we are currently at T-minus 19 minutes and 27 seconds till launch. This is our second attempt of the launch today, as we had an abort earlier before our original liftoff time. We are now targeting the end of our launch window today at 2:21 p.m. local time. So we are standing by for that countdown and listening in to mission control.
And to all operators, LDM mission code. We got the clear. We're proceeding to another launch attempt. T0 set local time 14:21:39. I'm repeating, we are go for proceeding with another launch attempt.
So just confirming what we heard from our launch director there, we are proceeding with our second attempt for today's window at 14:21 p.m. So we are now at T-minus 15 minutes and 24 seconds and counting.
Okay, looking at the clock, we are now just a few seconds away from our second go, no-go poll for today's flight. And with that in abort earlier in the count, our launch director recycled operations to target the end of our launch window today at 2:21 p.m. local time here in New Zealand. She'll be taking our operators through another readiness poll that's scheduled to begin in just 5 seconds' time. So let's listen in now.
And to all operators, we're proceeding now with the go, no-go sequence. Stage.
Stages go.
Avionics.
Avionics is go.
GNC.
GNCs go.
Recon.
Recon is go.
T1.
T1 is go.
GC.
GC is go.
PLS.
PLS is go.
RSO.
RSO is go.
MET.
Met is go.
MM.
Is go.
And LDSAP.
LDSAP is go.
The go, no-go sequence is complete. We're currently T-minus 11 minutes and 24 seconds and counting. We go for the terminal count order sequence at T-minus 10 minutes, and from this time the 3-bar procedure is in effect.
Great news there from Mission Control. We are moving forward with our second attempt now that the team has cleared that earlier abort issue. It is now T-minus 10 minutes and 56 seconds on the clock, targeting our new liftoff time at 2:21 p.m. local time.
GC LDM mission code.
LDGC.
Please proceed with sequence 58, pad terminal checks.
Copy sequence 58 in work. Stage 1 igniter pressures verified, hydraulic pressures verified, LDGC on mission.
GCLD.
Pad terminal checks complete.
Copy, thank you. Avionics LDM mission code.
LD avionics.
Please proceed with sequence 59, the avionics terminal checks.
Copy sequence 59 in work.
Well, while we are here looking at Electron on the pad ready to launch its latest mission, more than 2 million kilometres away are two of our spacecraft on a mission to Mars. After 2.5 months in space, our blue and gold spacecraft for the ESCAPADE Mars mission by NASA are now fully commissioned, and we are just about to hand over control of the spacecraft to the science team behind the mission at UC Berkeley. They are busy preparing their science instruments on the spacecraft ahead of a slingshot manoeuvre towards Mars later this year. This mission is a complex one, not just because any interplanetary mission is highly demanding, but the launch schedule for ESCAPADE added some particularly novel challenges. Here's more from our engineers behind the mission to explain just what was involved in getting us to this point and what's ahead for ESCAPADE.
Getting to Mars has historically meant waiting for perfect planetary alignment, but the ESCAPADE mission is different. We're setting a new course, rethinking the way we access the red planet.
So to get from Earth to Mars, we turn on an engine, and what that does is expels mass out of the back of the spacecraft and pushes the spacecraft forward. And the net effect of a maneuver is to increase our velocity. And so you often measure a maneuver by the amount of change in velocity that it executes. Now, there are two aspects to changing your velocity. One is that you're changing the amount of the velocity, so the speed you're going at. The other parameter that you change is the direction.
Ideally, we burn hard and head straight for Mars. But we launched out of phase, so the direct path is closed. We have to utilize a Lagrange point to store our energy.
We have launched out of phase, basically almost 1 year opposite from where you should, but the orbiting around these Lagrangian points is a really low energy spot to kind of hang out. It is a point in space that's about 1.5 million kilometers away from Earth.
This isn't downtime. Loitering is a complex operational state. We are millions of kilometers from home in a gravitational balancing act.
We still have course correction maneuvers to go. So we've got 15 of those course corrections to go over the course of the next year as we kind of loiter around this Lagrangian point.
Once we've executed the first trajectory correction maneuver, we'll be looking at a lot of the data generated by the spacecraft. The second trajectory correction maneuver is a longer burn. It's about 200 seconds long. That one puts us on the loiter orbit. For the first 12 months of the mission, the furthest we will go is about 3.3 million kilometers away. And so for the first 11 months of the mission, we're in a loiter orbit where we are leaving Earth and progressing towards one of the Lagrange points, which is a stable point in the Earth-Sun system.
We hold this pattern for a year until November 2026. That is when the physics finally line up. The wait ends and the real risk begins.
The planets will be aligned again in November of 2026, and that's when we will execute one of our biggest burns, the trans-Mars injection, which is going to take us to Mars.
The one definitely that is going to be the most spicy will be the trans-Mars injection burn. There's a really small window where you have to make that maneuver. So you've got to reorient the vehicle in a certain direction. You've got to prime the engine just before that. And you've got to hit that window, otherwise you're not going to Mars. That will be the tricky one for sure.
This is the reality of interplanetary operations. It's not just about the launch, it's about the endurance to navigate the void and the precision to hit the target.
But once we make it through the Mars orbit insertion and are in Martian orbit, then we'll have demonstrated that we can do these very complex missions for a third of the time and a 20th of the typical cost.
When a lot of people decide to be aerospace engineers one day, it's because of dreams like this.
Go team. You know, one of the longest trajectory burns by our spacecraft called Gold was just over 1.5 minutes, and that sent it past the Earth-Sun L2 Lagrange point alongside its twin called Blue. And as you heard in that video, 97 seconds of engine burn time can take you a long way. And next up is Mars.
Okay, it is almost time to launch our 81st mission with just 4 minutes and 18 seconds remaining on the countdown clock. Shortly, at T-minus 2 minutes, we'll switch to the launch auto sequence, which is when Electron's flight computer is in control of the countdown. That includes finalising the propellant load and checking that both stages of the vehicle are fully pressurised for launch. The launch director will call out a 20-second notice to launch across the nets before counting down with the clock from T-minus 10 seconds.
Then engine ignition starts at T-minus 2 seconds, and then it is liftoff at T0 for the Bridging the Swarm mission. And we'll keep the mission control audio channels up to listen all the way through, then we'll be back with you after liftoff. So go Electron and go KAIST.
To all operators, LDM mission code. From now on, there should be no red flags on your critical LCCs. Recon LDM mission code.
LD Vicon.
Please lock the auto sequence and confirm.
Locked.
Please confirm all flight computer ASCOs are green.
All flight computer ASCOs are green.
To all operators, we are go for auto sequence start at T-minus 2 minutes. LDs go for launch.
Vehicle is fully on internal power. AFTS is green and enabled for flight.
LOX load is complete. System is in recirculation. Anti-geysering is disabled.
Stage 1 and Stage 2 tanks are pressed for flight.
High flow engine purge enabled.
T-minus 20 seconds and counting. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Stage 1 propulsion nominal.
An excellent launch for Electron from Launch Complex 1 Pad A, and we are on our way to space for the 81st time. Electron is already about 5 kilometers above the launch pad right now and will soon reach maximum aerodynamic pressure, otherwise known as max Q. This is the first milestone to listen out for, and it marks the moment in Electron's ascent when the atmospheric pressure against the rocket is at its highest. So let's listen in.
Approaching max Q. Cleared max Q.
HVB discharge.
Confirmation there from Mission Control that we have cleared max Q with some beautiful views of that rocket on its way to space. And at T plus 1 minute 29 seconds, we are now more than 21 kilometers above Earth and moving at more than 2,000 kilometers an hour to reach orbit. Now, very soon, we are going to make our way through the final event for Electron's first stage, which is called MECO, or Main Engine Cutoff. And we'll see all 9 Rutherford engines power down and shut off so that our second stage of the vehicle can be safely separated. And then after that, the sole engine on the second stage will light up to power the remainder of Electron's flight. So again, that is MECO, stage separation, and second stage engine start that we are looking out for on the vehicle cameras when those actions are scheduled to begin at T plus 2 minutes and 37 seconds.
"15 seconds to staging. Entered burnout detect mode.
MECO confirmed. Stage 2 ignition confirmed.
Stage separation confirmed.
Fantastic. Mission Control has confirmed a successful MECO, stage separation and second stage engine startup. A nice clean run for Electron on this mission so far. Now next up will be fairing jettison when the two halves of Electron's nose cone split in two and fall away, revealing KAIST's payload to space for the very first time. We've got a camera inside pointed up at the spacecraft, so we should see that visual confirmation when it occurs in the next 30 seconds. Let's keep an eye out.
Fairing jettison confirmed.
That is fairing jettison confirmed, and there is NeonSat 1A on your screen, exposed to space and racing closer to payload deployment now that we are at T plus 3 minutes, 59 seconds into the mission. And we've got another 2.5 minutes or so until our next milestone for Electron, which is the battery hot swap. That's scheduled to take place for the second stage Rutherford engine at around T plus 6 minutes, 35 seconds into flight. For Electron's second stage, the Rutherford engine that you see on your screen there burns for a little over 6 minutes and through more than 2,000 kilograms of propellant. And during this engine burn, we run the two batteries that are powering its electric pumps to depletion, after which a third battery pack takes over to keep them running for the remainder of the count.
That's right, we call this manoeuvre the battery hot swap, and it's scheduled to take place in just a few moments, more than halfway through the engine burn. You can see two of those batteries on your screen there reflecting the Earth, one on the left of the nozzle and one on the right, and there's a third out of shot too. But we should see that right-hand battery disconnect pretty clearly when hot swap occurs.
Guidance is nominal, 200 seconds remaining.
HVB discharge holding nominal, approaching hot swap in roughly 30 seconds.
Throttling down.
Battery jettison confirmed.
Hot swap successful.
Nice one, a seamless hot swap under the belt, and that second stage engine is firing away. We are now 6 minutes and 57 seconds into today's mission, and Electron's second stage is cruising along with KAIST's payload. Electron has now climbed to 200 kilometers above Earth, right around our kick stage separation altitude.
AFTS is saved.
Will you take a look at that view from Electron's onboard camera? That is the beauty of launching during the daytime. It was only 7 minutes ago that Electron left the pad at LC1, and we are now more than 200 kilometers above Earth, well on our way to our 540 kilometer orbital destination. Our trajectory is taking us down towards Antarctica as we make our way out over the South Pacific.
And we're getting to the end of the second stage's journey now, which means our next milestone to watch out for will be second engine cutoff, or SECO. And much like the main engine cutoff in the first few minutes of flight, the single Rutherford engine on your screen right now will power down to allow that kick stage with KAIST payload to cleanly separate. So let's listen back in for that SECO call out.
Entered burnout detect mode.
Guidance is in terminal, 20 seconds remaining.
SECO confirmed.
Nominal transfer orbit achieved.
Stage separation confirmed.
There we have it. That is SECO confirmed. And the kick stage has successfully separated from Electron, sending NEONSat 1A closer to its orbital target for payload deployment within the hour to complete this mission.
A smooth ride so far for KAIST's Earth imaging satellite. It'll now spend about 40 minutes or so in the elliptical orbit it's been separated into before our kick stage lights up its engine to circularize. Then payload deployment can begin.
We're going to take a break from the broadcast for now while the kick stage coasts around the Earth, but we will be back with you to listen into mission control as they confirm payload deployment for KAIST. So we'll see you here soon.